Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast. Stand out, don't fit in. This is the second and last part of the fascinating discussion with Chuck Hogan. If you haven't listened to the first part of the interview, go back to episode 15 and check it out before you listen to this one. You said you were talking about fear and faith, and I want your comment on how the negativity that many people are constantly being bombarded with through the television, the social media, how that affects our fear or increases our fear, and how can we shift from this constant negativity towards positivity and optimism in this difficult situation that we're living in?
Great question. Right now, there's a formula for, I'll say, media, and so let me kind of separate that to a degree. The mainstream media deals with sensationalism. And for the first time, I remember 9/11. I remember SARS and avian flu, and arguably, you did not see the social distancing that is occurring that we're seeing now. Part of the challenge is that we need to know how we're wired. We need to know where we're living, what our epicenter is. For many people, arguably, we all share many attributes. So if we're more rules driven, if we're much more methodic, if we're an action taker, do first, think second. And this also comes from if we're internal or external. So I don't care what anyone else thinks. These are my beliefs. This is who I am. This is how I live my life. For other people, I go, well, tell me what I need to do. Tell me what's my next action step. Come on, I need to know. They're externally framed. They're waiting for someone else's affirmation. They're waiting for someone else's input. Mm-hmm. Now, arguably, we all have a little bit of both in us, but some people are way external. And some people are way internal.
Yeah.
And so what I would say, in fact, what I would ask is if you're very external, where in your body do you actually feel it when you get positive reinforcement or someone has told you that something is A-okay? Now, the reason why I'm asking is because arguably for most people, they go, yeah, but I still get that feeling. And I go, oh, so you are internal. Well, yeah, but they told me it was all right. Yes, but where'd you feel it? They go, well, first it was here and then it was here. So I go, but if you're really connecting with yourself, have you always known that it felt right? They go, yeah, but I just needed that confirmation from someone else. I go, great. So this is a beautiful opportunity right now to, in those moments when you find yourself floating back up in your head, get back in that heart space and ask yourself, does it really feel right? Where am I feeling that in my body? What can this really mean? There's a technique that Mr. Robbins had shared with me at a private platinum partner event. And I'm going to share this with everyone on this because he said, use this. And the abbreviation is called SEW, S-E-W. S-E-W. The S stands for the sensation. Now, I'm going to back up for just a moment. This is a way within 60 to 90 seconds that you can actually process in your own body. So within a minute to a minute and a half, when you get really good at it, you can do it in 20, 30 seconds. This is a way to not feel debilitated or triggered by something that's going on. So could be a very powerful tool when we're feeling the onslaught of what I'll call negative input. See, we're going to wind back even 20 seconds earlier. You asked me, when all this negativity is around. Well, let's look at what ways are the negative flows coming to you. So I'll put it a different way. What are the ways that sugar is entering your body? Because arguably sugar is one of the most addictive products on the planet, and it's one of the ones that's the most worst for you. It's detrimental to your health. But it's in foods, it's in beverages, it's in pasta sauces. It's in everything, and it's hidden. Well, the negativity that people are being subjected to right now is hidden. So right now, your life is like a supermarket. You go into the supermarket, the grocery store, and you start looking around. Well, some people eat for comfort. So they're buying chips, they're buying candy, they're buying pastries, they're buying fruit, they'll buy meats, they'll proteins, and then they'll get salad. And that's the amount of their salad. Their cart is full, salad. And it's a garnish. It's parsley on the side of their plate. And they don't even eat it. They just chew on it and then put it to the side. It's like mint in their tea. So that's the amount of vegetation that they're getting. Sorry, I'll get off that whole bandwagon. But we have a choice. And just like the supermarket of life, we get to choose what's the fuel we're going to put into our bodies. So if I'm going to eat leafy greens, alkalizing foods, whole grains, if I'm going to have some grains, I'll have some Ezekiel bread. Why? Because I want to put the best fuel in my body. Well, I would contest that we exercise, and there are people who are pros at eating clean, but they are absolutely junkies when it comes to what they're feeding themselves emotionally and mentally. And so part of that 30-30-30 that we talked about is feeding your mind with good food, good mental food, great mental food, feeding your spirit, great messages, great videos, things that make you cry, things that touch your soul, things that when you look at them, they're inspirational or motivational. Why? Because in those moments, when you get doses of that, now all of a sudden you're like going, I really like salads a lot more. I really like the emotional cleansing. I really like the emotional enemas I've been giving myself. So going back to didn't want to leave you hanging. So the first thing you're going to ask yourself is the sensation. What am I feeling? And most notably, where is it in my body? Where am I having this reaction? Is it in my head? Is it in the space between my ears? Is it in my heart? My heart feels heavy. Is it in my gut? Okay. Well, interesting. So I'm feeling this sensation, feeling it kind of in my head. Okay. The E stands for the emotion. What is this feeling? Because people will go, oh, I'm feeling frustrated. Okay. What does that really mean? So what's the emotion that you feel when you're experiencing frustration? And then I'm going, I'm feeling judgmental. Like, I'm so frustrated because I'm not getting it right. I keep doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, okay. So where are you feeling it? In your head. Oh, and what's the emotion again? Like judgmental. Being really hard on myself. I'm just angry, Chuck. So the emotion's anger. But wow, that came from frustration. You tell me. Yeah, I'm really pissed off right now. I go, oh, so you went from angry to pissed off. Is that a higher or lower level? They're like, oh, definitely higher. They go, and I said, okay, what's the next level? They go, enraged. I go, have you ever felt enraged when you were frustrated? They go, oh, yeah. Oh, I was like, okay, but we don't need to go there now. So we don't have to associate to that feeling. So when you recall this, you feel it between your ears. So that's the sensation. And then the emotion is this anger. And then the W is what and why. Why are you feeling this way and what does it really mean? And I'm like, well, this always happens. Always? Every time? Absolutely. Well, often. Has it ever not happened? Yes. Okay. So how would you like to feel instead of angry? You go, oh, free, light, happy. Yeah, let's go for happy. I go, great. What has to happen in order for you to feel happy? They go, what? I was like, where focus goes, energy flows. You focus on being pissed. I said, your words, not mine. You focus on being frustrated. It's not working again. So how often have you exercised this? How often have you built that muscle? I said, quite often. So we need to break the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you want to feel instead? You go, well, I said, shit. How do you want to feel instead? So can help move you through this very quickly. And then we can start to anchor all the beautiful things that go along with those emotions and feelings that you want to feel most often. But one of the things that's really important, and this is really important for people to understand, is that we need to scramble and alleviate getting caught in the processes that trigger us most often. So for some people, they're addicts. They're like going, oh, I can't help it. I got to turn on this news simulcast. I said, well, turn on a different one. Why is it that? Oh, that's my channel. It's kind of like when you hear a song, you go, ooh, that's my jam. You know, I'm like going, oh. Okay. And they get triggered with all these emotions. They elect to choose. But in some way, shape, or form, they become addicted to feeling that way. And it's like, oh, for the love of Pete, people, we've got to shift this up a little bit. It's kind of like there's certain songs I hear, I'm going, oh, yeah. I'm imagining it's a nice, warm summer's day and just enjoying the music and feeling it. And then someone will play opera, and I'm like going, no, I love opera as well. I don't mean to be I consider myself more cultured than that. But no, the truth of the matter is I love all forms of music. Well, I love all forms of media. The challenge with it is that some media triggers us in different ways than others. So as an example, if I'm listening to a comedian that is actually able to find the levity and light, it's not the information, it's how the information is delivered. Mm-hmm. Oh, so we can talk about Corona, we can talk about stock market, we can talk about food and toilet paper but it can be done in such a way where it's not as detrimental, where we can find the comedy in it, where we can find the levity in it. It takes just as much energy. In fact, it takes more energy to be negative than it does to be positive. You use more muscles to frown than you do to smile. So if we're about efficiency and we're about growing, let's just use the 7 or 8 muscles it takes to smile instead of the 20 or 30 that it takes to frown. Interesting.
Very.
So, it's powerful. One of the other things too is that you can actually create your own pattern interrupts. And one of the things that I've been doing lately, I was given access to some amazing information at a training I was at recently. And it's about the power of breath and breathing. And because of the way that our body is wired, you really do want to breathe in through your nose and then exhale out your mouth. And one of the things that you can do with this is that, in fact, everyone can try this right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose.
Let's do it.
Yep. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, yawn. Drop your jaw. Now you're going to breathe in again as if you were breathing in to yawn. Now, this is very interesting because you're going to actually find you take in about 20 to 30% more breath. So if you're like you do when you're young. How good is it was
actually, I can feel it more oxygen in my head.
And releasing. Your shoulders drop. The body is a beautiful instrument when we know how to play it. Many of us are tone deaf, though, when it comes to how we play our own bodies. And so it's about understanding the melody, the rhythm, the lyrics, the tempo, the beat, the bass, the treble. They go, now you've gotten them way too technical. I said, if it makes you shake your ass, if Joseph McClendon would say, then you're doing something right. And so, again, because motion creates emotion. So why wouldn't we want to incorporate a little attitude into what we're doing? And they go, I can do that while I'm yawning? Yes, you can. Can you do that while I'm box breathing? Yes, you can. And so it's all these different things. They've literally shown that you can actually drop your blood pressure by breathing properly. You can lower your heart rate by breathing properly. Most, in fact, martial arts, it's about the breathing as well as the movements. So being able to find that center. There's a technique I taught my kids from the time they were very, very little about being present and clear. If you find yourself going down the rabbit hole, if you find yourself being influenced by, I'll say, external forces, because the truth is there's no such thing as negative information. It's just information. There's no such thing as negativity. It's data. The only thing that makes it positive or negative is the way that we take it on.
Yeah.
So as Master Ko would say, is that we can go ahead and put up that beautiful shield of pink light around our heart. We can go ahead and put that beautiful golden crown and help stimulate ourselves rather than judge ourselves. We can use our big green mittens and brush away any negative charge. We can go ahead and fill ourselves with positive violet light. And yeah, I mean, even just thinking about it for that moment, it starts to feel a different way. What I would contest is, though, is that let's try every breath in. You feel so inclined, close your eyes. And just take a deep breath in through your nose. In fact, go ahead and take your finger. You can take your pinky or your index finger, just touch the tip of your nose, right? The tip of your nose, right where your nostrils are. As you take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, allow the breath just to flow out of you. No force. Beautiful. Deep breath in, right by the tip of your nose. And as you take a deep breath in, imagine your favorite color. Your favorite color. The perfect color for you. I know some of you are achievers and you're like arcoides. It's a rainbow. That's beautiful. Exhale. Good. As you take your next deep breath in, imagine that color even brighter, more clean, more pure as it's passing right by the tip of your nose. And you're going to give it the perfect scent for you as you exhale lightly. Beautiful. One more deep breath in. Effortlessly breathing in. Perfect color, perfect scent. And exhale. And on the last one, we're going to breathe in and we're going to do a deep moan out. Deep breath in. Perfect color, perfect scent, and moan out. Do you find that your mind is quiet? Yes.
I find the relaxation,
Yes.
a peace, an internal peace, and even not just my mind, even my body. I just sat more on the chair, complete relaxation, and
Do you know
very easy,
why?
just a few breaths.
Within seconds, because all emotions are stored cellularly in your body. And when you release, when you are in flow, when you are feeding those beautiful nutrients, as we increase the oxygenation, we increase the volume of blood in our body. What you're doing is flooding your body with beautiful endorphins that actually help remove pain, that actually help us. And that's one of the reasons why COVID-19 has been so detrimental to people, because it's removing their breath. It's removing their breath.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, you just went negative. Then breathe, because you have that ability. But here's some tricks to helping ward off having any kind of, I'll just say, physical impairment. Number one, every 20 minutes, take a sip of a warm fluid. That means warmer than room temperature, not lukewarm, warm. So it could be lemon water with honey. It could be mint tea, preferably not things that are caffeinated, because then you'll be jumping off the walls. And your mind will definitely be racing, and you'll have rapid eye movements. So we'll be able to tell each and every one of you that's having this reaction. I know some of you are going, I'm high on life. I'm like going, yeah, and that double espresso you just had. Yes, we got your number. Because we know what comes with that, and that's the biscotti and the croissant. And they're like, okay, dude, you're calling me out. Yes, I am. So taking sips of warm fluid, it actually helps keep your esophageal tract clean and clear and help flush things through your body. Also, it helps with hydration. The second thing is a couple times a day, not long, but a couple times a day, preferably once in the morning, once before you go to bed at night. I would say hop in the shower or a bath, and allow yourself, your skin's the largest organ that you have, so you can hydrate your body. And I would also say that that warm, moist air helps with your lungs as well, loosening up anything. The other thing too is that if you can get a hold of some elderberry, you can actually take things like echinacea and elderberry, and just a little bit will help immensely. That, or you can even get turmeric tea. You can order it online and have it delivered to your home. It helps reduce inflammation in your body, as long as you don't have an allergy to any of these things. These very simple things, even along with ginseng tea and things like that, will help increase your metabolic rate, will help ward off and increase your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that way you can actually stay more healthy, happy, and focused as well. And you may even find too that it's a great recipe for helping your body increase its metabolic rate, where you're like, oh, holy smokes, I've actually lost a stone or two during this time that I've had this staycation. Because now you can actually you're not under the external influence of a lot of other people relative to eating what they're eating because you're out of business meetings, lunches, grabbing something on the go. That's all baloney. So here's the worst part. You're accountable now. Holy smokes. And that's a beautiful thing. Wow. So those are just some of the ways that when we start to, the simple answer, and I took a very left turn at Albuquerque approach towards my answer to your question. What I would say is this, my friend: you have control over the remote. Off, on, change the freaking channel, lower the volume. Because imagine this, imagine you're just watching what's going on with no sound. And there's a bunch of people reading off a teleprompter. I said, imagine there's sound and no picture. I said, but people have become so conditioned. I said, what if it was in black and white and you were reading it? I said, that's different as well. So what I would say is that, at least here in the United States, we had this great reporter named Walter Cronkite. The days of Walter Cronkite are dead. Everyone has an opinion. That's the human condition. Everyone has their slant. If they're left or right, if they're, an independent, they're a conservative or liberal, everyone has an opinion. And the truth is, no one's right and no one's wrong. No one's to blame. It's kind of like going, you use metric, we use standard. The temperature is still the temperature. So if I say it's 70 degrees outside, Fahrenheit, I'm going to go, what is that Celsius? We have we have two different measuring sticks for the exact same temperature. It hasn't all of a sudden changed because you're metric and I'm standard. It's just the way we're communicating creates a divide. And then we have to go, you're not in your heart when you're thinking about the conversion rate of what Celsius to Fahrenheit is or Fahrenheit to Celsius. True? That's a head process.
Yeah.
So that's where, when people start to analyze, as I call it, they're not analyzing information, they're analyzing it over it because they're so emotionally attached to it that they have this visceral response.
Yeah.
Flex and flow. Take a deep breath in. Get present. Information is just information. So it's, and people go, come on, it's not that easy. I said, no, in your model of the world, it's not that easy. In my model of the world, it's that easy.
Absolutely.
And it took time to develop that unconscious competence now, where I'm not triggered. Because if I find myself getting triggered, it's like, breathe, take a moment. What does this really mean? Get even more sensory aware. And so instead of going here, I go here. Oh, well, what allows you to do that? Freedom, flex, and flow. All comes under the banner of faith.
Outstanding. Thank you.
My pleasure.
There is one other thing I wanted your comments on, and that is how we can use this challenge and disruption and turn it into an opportunity, not personally, but as professionally, because as many people's professions have been disrupted or completely halted for the time being.
Sure. So many times in people's professional careers, they don't get a chance like this. They don't get this chance to go into a deep evaluation as to how they're feeling about what their occupation is. And so arguably there are some people who are doing what they love to do, and there are other people who are making a paycheck. Keith Cunningham says, you don't have to love what you do if it's paying the bills. He goes, but if you can be serving your life's purpose by doing what you elect to do, that's a different story. And I go, that's interesting. So let's look at this logistically. Right now, prior to the events of, we'll call it 8 weeks ago, arguably some people are going, man, this year has been a great start to the year. And everything's remarkable, prosperity, because we are in a very strong economic market. You know, we had gosh knows how many consecutive quarters of growth. The Dow Industrial was trading at 26,000. Right now, I think it's down to about 22.20. It dropped as low as 18.6. And so for some people who are investors, they're like going, well, I'm making money on the up and the down. And it's like, great. Then what's the problem? And like, nothing. Other people are going, I just lost 12 years of earnings in my retirement fund. And I was like, uh-huh. And so what does that look like? And they're like going, I'm not happy. I said, great. And in our conversation a little while ago, you said that's how you want to feel most often, is happy, grateful, loving, guided, gifted, blessed. Okay. Were you spending the money right now? And I go, well, no, but now I'm going to have to work longer. I said, I understand. Are you above ground? Is there food on the table? Did you sleep in a bed last night? Is your electricity paid? You have water? You have a roof over your head? God bless you. We get to decide and elect what we're looking at. Now people go, okay, but in my business, I have a lot of people who are dependent on me. I said, outstanding. So have you been running a successful business for many years? I said, yes, I've amassed millions. It's like, okay, great. So this is where we start to see true generosity, when we start taking care of our family, our extended family. You know, for some employers, they wear being a business owner as a badge of honor, and they're really cool to brag about it. You know, they're driving their Bentley, they're living in their palatial mansion, and then something like this hits and it halts everything, and they lay everybody off. And I'm like going, whoa, wait a second. You just said, you know, in your speech 8 weeks ago, that this is the best team ever, and that this, you know, we're taking care of people. And, you know, now you're telling them that they need to file for unemployment, and that, you know, you're not going to stand behind. It's like going, how many hundreds of millions of dollars do you have? And have you done a set aside to make sure that these people are taken care of, because they have families and mouths to feed as well? You know, it's kind of a crazy thing. It's a crazy time. I'll give you this example. We had a presidential candidate here in the United States named Michael Bloomberg. Very impressive person, self-made billionaire, worth about $60 billion. $60 billion. There's 450 million Americans in the United States. He spent $500 million on his campaign to run for president. That means that literally every American in the United States could have been given $1 million, been put in a trust or an account for this exact situation. So when we start talking about serving America, when we start talking about serving people, when we start talking about taking care and ostensibly serving the world, I go, wow, there is a percentage of the 1% that has enough capital to actually care philanthropically for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And their money is made off of creating value for other people. Where's the value now? So I'm not arguing socialism. I'm not arguing that the rich should give everything away to the disenfranchised. What I would say is that right now you have a unique opportunity where you can't use the excuse of time. That's why I said accountability is key, because right now for people, they have the opportunity of being able to go in and look at their businesses because they have time on their hands and they don't have distractions. And they don't have excuses right now. They can see what's been working, what hasn't been working, and it affords them an opportunity to take a different approach. Because my argument is I don't believe that business is just going to go back to the status quo. I really don't. They go, well, we're going to get back to normal. What's normal? There are some businesses that have irreparably shifted and changed now, and they are not going to be the same that they were. You're going to see some companies moving much faster towards technology now because they could have still been in production and still producing products if robots were doing it by comparison to people. Mm-hmm. You're going to see different automations. We've seen 3D digital printing of houses now. Houses. They can actually, with Lavacrete, 3D print a house a day. A day. Dang. And recreate the machine. Double dang. So why am I saying this? There's technological advancements. This right now, this staycation is forcing us all to be more resourceful. Mm-hmm. I would say instead of watching frivolous videos all day long, go out and start researching in your marketplace different options and opportunities, different things that other people are doing to help advance. What are some of the innovations? Maybe you reach out to even some of your competitors and you say, hey, we understand that normally we've been competitors. Right now, we need to come together. Maybe it's time to start looking at how do we create more momentum in the marketplace and come up with better marketing plans together. But I arguably underneath the umbrella of all this, I will share this. And in fact, I'll be doing this all day myself today. I am actually filming videos for my clients, mm-hmm. letting them know that we are here in support of them with helpful tips like what we talked about, breathing techniques, different things about nutrition, different things about, and why. They're going to be 2-minute videos that are going to share information and insights and making our services available as a company in conjunction with making sure that they know how much we care. And I'll be in state for every single video I record today because people need to understand and feel your heart. Maya Angelou had it right. People forget what you had to say. They'll even forget what you did. They'll always remember how you made them feel. But her other saying, which was equally as important, is people don't care what you have to say until they know how much you care. Mm-hmm. Right now, there are some people out and all they're doing is guerrilla marketing right now. And that's what they're doing. They're blasting the airwaves. They're kind of pasting the environment to go ahead and try and get an opportunity from their clients. And I was like going, interesting. But here's the ticket. Most people, at least here in the United States, are working from home now. And arguably, they don't have the same access to all the resources that they had when they were in the office. And so now it's going to take even more resourcefulness in order to offer goods and services. Mm-hmm. So if it's words of wisdom, if it's mindful intention, if it's making sure that you're there in presence, body, mind, and spirit to help support someone with encouragement, with love, with adulation, great. If it's you have great comedic timing, outstanding. If you are an amazing musician, play a little something for some people. Live in your gifts and share the best parts of you. And that will come out in your businesses as well. I understand you might be sitting on a ton of inventory. I might understand that you are in awkward positions where you're trying to figure out how to liquidate some stock. When would now be a great time to go ahead and make sure that you're covering your expenses and offer to your clients, for anyone who may have the financial viability to do so, mm-hmm. a ripping deal, a huge discount where you're covering your expenses so that you can take care of all those beautiful souls that have served with you, for you, and are representatives of your organization. So just one of the many ways. There's so many. There's so many. My pleasure.
I want to ask something different, Chuck.
Please.
And this is about relationships. And I will use a specific example because now with the staycation, as you call it,
yes,
there are many couples in particular that spend time inside with each other, much more time than they are normally used to. And that, of course, can lead to some disagreements. What's your advice with preventing that, or using the time to their advantage rather than against them?
Sure. So part of it is that no different than our businesses. In fact, I'll go on record as saying this. If people spend as much time in their relationships as they did on their businesses, you wouldn't see the level of divorce that you see now. Arguably, part of the challenge has become is that where people escape to their businesses in some instances because their identity as a business owner, as a provider, as an entrepreneur, as a manager, whatever the case might be, as a thinker, doer, feeler, maker, happener type of person, they're not doing that right now.
Mm.
And so it's racing. I'm trying to figure out, how do I make things better? Especially for a lot of masculine men. They're like going, okay, I fix stuff. That's what I do. I'm a fixer. It's like, great. What are you working on right now? The yard, the house. So here's the cool part. You have lemons. You don't have to just make lemonade. You can make lemon custard. You can make a lemon meringue pie. You can make lemon cake, limoncello. You could make a lemon spritzer. You could make, mimosas with lemon instead of orange. And people are like, hey, if you're into drinking, I'm not judging, just saying. And so, but why do I say this? Because in relationships, it's not the relationship that is the cause of the tension. It's things and stuff. So, for many people, I've been together with my wife now for 32 years. I'm very blessed. And she is my best friend. And so I love her always. There are days I'm sure she doesn't like me very much. And so one of the things that we've discussed is that using this time to get very deliberate about the things that we get to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we've made sure right now that we get to eat dinners together as a family, because we don't have athletics and sports and things right now that are keeping our family split apart. We don't have homework assignments, at least not at that level, there's no excuses. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
what this time can be for people is a beautiful opportunity to be able to share and grow and cultivate and create a beautiful dynamic where now they're opening up new lines of communication. We have an opportunity to be innovative. We have an opportunity to elect and choose and commit to being more open. One of the things that happens oftentimes with these types of spaces is that people will get very pressured. They're like going, I'm in a small place. It's only 1,800 square feet. And it's the two of us and the cat. I hate that cat. It's like going, wait a second. You love Boo Boo. What are you talking about? You're like going, not right now. Oh, because that cat normally likes to be let outside. Cat can't go outside the way. I was like, wait, you walk your cat? Okay, anyway, I'm not judging, just saying. So I'm bringing this to your attention, though, because proximity is power. And proximity also can create what I will call a little bit of peril.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be able to give people their time. Time, if they're taking their time to reflect, time to meditate, time to reset, time to grow within themselves. So give them their 30, 30, 30. Now that 30 minutes may be with you in exercise, and you go for a walk together. Still exercising, all the same caveats and rules, 10 feet away from other people, yada, yada, yada. But you go, I can't remember the last time we went for a walk together. Well, when would now be a great time to do what you used to do? When you had no money and you were first starting to date and you were walking hand in hand? When would now be a great time to go ahead and maybe you cook dinner? Yes, you can burn water, but maybe what you do is you decide you're going to go ahead and cook for your beautiful spouse instead of her always having to be the one that feels like she has to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So when would now be a great time for you to go ahead and, encourage he or she to be more involved in the arts? Or maybe you take time to sit down together and you create movie night. and you decide, okay, it's Tuesday, we're going to watch a comedy tonight. Wednesday, we're going to watch a romantic movie. Thursday, we're going to watch a sci-fi. Great. Yes, you're going to sit through Downton Abbey together because she loves it. And you're like going, wow. It's like watching paint dry, but you love her. And so it's at some point in time, we need to understand. But here's the biggest part. You're doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, you would do anything for each other. And now you've gotten to a point where you piss each other off. You didn't put the salt away. Okay, I'll put it away now. When would now be a great time for me to put the salt away? It's like, but we can get raw. And this is where I said SEW. So we get to condition, we get to breathe. So it's not a matter of, oh, there's all these techniques. No, information is only information. I am not into shelf help. You have a beautiful library behind you, and I can see that many of the books you've read. You've read. Well, and I share this with you though because it's important. I know a lot of people are into shelf help. They have all these resources, and they haven't read freaking one of them. There's not even a page creased in any of them. And I was like, okay, then what good does it do you? Does it make you look intellectual? Because I can go into the Harvard Library. I can go into, Texas University Library and be sitting there with all these books behind me and look like an intellectual. Or I can have nothing behind me and a white screen and share information. Because it's what we apply. Weights don't lift themselves. It's what you do with the weights. Books are only knowledge if you actually read it, digest it, and apply it. And so right now, there's that unique opportunity. But taking that 30-30-30, people that are in relationships can actually take that time and start asking their better half, hey, we haven't been able to go to church together. Would you mind if we take a couple moments this morning and just say a prayer for the world? We'll keep that intention of our family and friends and all our loved ones and even people we don't know, because we're all part of the same race. Hey, would you mind if we did, would you, spot me? I'm going to be doing some lifting today. And if you hold my feet down, I'll hold your feet down. Or I figure out a way where we can actually do ab crunches together. We'll hold each other's legs down. That'd be awesome. Hey, I was reading this article and it's amazing. I thought this might interest you. Here, come sit down with me. I'll read it out loud to you. Wow, isn't that cool? We have together time. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to come together, to collaborate, to connect, to love, to appreciate. And in that faith and in that flex and flow, there's an opportunity to move and grow.
Outstanding.
We get to decide. We get to decide. It doesn't have to be this way. But many people have made mediocrity their measuring stick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting by. We're doing all right. She's good. He's good. What? How about great? How about amazing? How about fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe during this time, what you choose is to game plan what the future is going to look like. And you start to go ahead and do like some, I'll just say vision board work together. But what I would ask, if you're going to do a vision board, you can look up Brian Mayne as an example. He's in the UK, Mayne. He actually has a vision boarding that I started with my kids when they were young. And it's left brain and right brained. So you actually attach emotions, feelings, that emotional connectivity to achieving these outcomes and these goals and moving forward, in addition to all of the action item steps that are necessary. So it's really cool process. Really cool process. So
certainly something to take on board and do. And there are so many things that you have mentioned during our conversation now that are, I think, if someone, and I will say it for myself first of all, but anyone who takes one or two out of all this wealth of information that you said will, I'm certain that they will make a vast change and improvement in not only this period of time that they have secluded in their home, in their staycation. I like that word. But I think it's also laying the foundations for whatever happens after the epidemic finishes, and with the other side, whatever that may look like, which who knows what it is. But as I was telling you earlier before we started, I have faith really that whatever is going to happen, it's going to be for the better. And what you were saying about seeing the fish in the canals of Venice and dolphins, Mother Nature needed some balance, I think.
I mean, they have deer in downtown Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
So when the kerfuffle, when the congestion, when everything slows down, it provides amazing opportunities. And this, they call it a pandemic. I'm going to call it a pan opportunity, because we can look at this and yes, the death is devastating. This is a very cruel disease. Most people do not die in the warm embrace of a loved one. They die alone. And that is saddening. And so what I would say is, let's not let any soul be taken for granted. Let us decide that we're going to thrive, not survive. It's the difference between being a cancer survivor and a cancer conqueror. One never comes back. One is not an identity that we take on. I'm not going to take this moment in life and make it the benchmark standard for what my life is about. It's a moment. And yes, arguably it could be for several months, but it's still a moment. It's not forever. It is not what is necessary for the survival of my family. And what's necessary is the love, the connection, the resourcefulness, and the ability that we have to actually be effective in moving forward and making magic happen. That's very different. Very different. So,
fantastic.
Jack, well, I want to thank you very much for your time, for sharing these incredible things from the heart to the heart, really, because I've told you that before. It's just speaking in here, not even here. This hears it, but this understands it.
Thank you, my friend.
I wanted, even though it's a little bit, this podcast is different than what I normally do, but I would like, even if it's a bit off topic, just to ask a quick question, because I ask it with all of my guests in the podcast. Please. And if you could go back in time and meet your 20-year-old self, what's the one piece of advice you would give him?
That's easy. No, it is. It's actually very easy. Don't be so self-judgmental. I, at a very young age, put so much pressure on myself, academically, educationally, performance-wise, spiritually, intellectually, physically, that I let life escape me for many years because I was so busy doing. And arguably, those lessons learned, as much as I'd like to say we've even been able to impart slowing down to our children, society only speeds things up.
Mm-hmm.
The speed with which technology is advancing, the speed with which life conditions are being altered is at a paramount pace. And it's one of the reasons why I believe we're seeing so much discord and dis-ease that is occurring within our environments.
Mm-hmm.
To that point, and that being said, to the 20-year-old self, the same lesson we talked about today: embracing faith, embracing the flex and flow and the freedom, and knowing that only limited by the scope of one's own self-judgment and lack of imagination.
Beautifully said. Thank you very much. Chuck, how can people connect with you if they want to?
Oh, please. I'm service. I love helping support people professionally and personally. And so you can check me out at yblsnow.com. You'll see my partners, Tony Rodriguez and Darren McMahon, on there as well. We are committed to helping people grow and cultivate. And the company's called YBLS Now because it's Live Your Best Life Strategist Now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple concept, and that is, you're going to live life or you're going to survive life. But if you're going to live your best life, not just any life. And I know it sounds so simple and maybe a little cliche, but it's so true. And I've been so blessed. I have several clients that we strategize with, and it's brilliant and beautiful just to see their growth and progress. And we even do a bi-weekly podcast, or excuse me, not a podcast, a mastermind group.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you're welcome, my friend. Let me know, and I'll be more than happy to email you the link, and would love to have you as a guest. And
thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a community where people can come together and share ideas and thoughts without any judgment, and get best practices. We have a wide variety of people who are involved in the Mentors and Mastermind program, and it is a true testament to how communities can come together and cultivate and grow. And in times of social unrest, and we've been doing this now for over a year, and it's been brilliant because the people who are involved with it find value in it, and we're more than flattered because it's not us delivering a monologue or just our opinions. It's a community coming together and sharing a variety of thoughts, in a plethora of questions. And so, and thank you for that, my friend. This has been brilliant and beautiful, and I so appreciate the opportunity and time.
I'm really grateful for your time and the opportunity to share your beautiful message with my audience. And I want to wish you all the very best. And,
likewise, my friend.
Any parting words?
Take time to do something fun today. Smile, and remember that your life is a gift and filled with opportunity, and that irregardless of how oppressive, or I'll say whatever challenges we feel that we are dealing with, that you will flow through these as well, and that you are much stronger and more resourceful than you ever even could imagine possible. You're not alone. And I will leave with this one last thought. Right now, there's a lot of people who are not feeling very valuable, and there's a lot of people who are not sharing or communicating what they're truly feeling. And so if you are in a place where you're feeling disempowered, if you're in a place where you're not feeling as strong as you feel you need to be, and you've considered some foolish actions, please don't leave anything in the world of the unspoken. You can reach out at any time. You can go to Chuck at yblsnow.com. And I'm going to publicly state this right now. My cell number is 817-751-4037. It's 817-751-4037. Text, email, call me. If you need someone who's willing to listen, happy to oblige. You're not alone. This is about coming together. This is not about isolating.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, brother.
I'm very grateful, brother. Thank you.
Right back at you. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always.
Thank you very much for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate and review Personal Development Mastery on Apple Podcasts. If you want to know more about me and how I can help you, join my Facebook group Personal Development Mastery. You can either search for it on Facebook or you can simply type bit.ly/PDM group. And until next time, stand out, don't fit in.